Welcome to Parenting Successful Teens, the podcast that cuts through the overwhelm and stress of this phase and offers parents simple, practical, cognitive, science-based strategies for keeping their teens on track. Join Master Coach and real-life mom, Allie Irwin, to talk about real teens, real problems, and the skills it takes to raise successful adults.
Hello, everybody. I live in America. I don't know where y'all are listening from. But Americans have a lot of things. Actually, everyone around the world has a lot of big things going on right now. But in America, it's primary season. And so there is crazy politics on every channel, every social media channel, every friend's feed all the time. And as a world, we're dealing with coronavirus. And in the midst of all of the big feelings that people are having about that, we're having all of our normal stuff too. You know, our kids are, whatever's going on with our kids and our jobs and our health and our relatives and like all our normal stuff is happening as well. And what I've been seeing in my clients and actually what I've been feeling for myself is just like more than normal quantity of big feelings. And so I thought now was kind of like a perfect time to talk about how to handle all those big feelings without eating or drinking or getting in a fight with your spouse or mindlessly scrolling social media or shopping or like all of the things that we do when we're feeling anxious or stressed or sad or disappointed. When I talk to my clients about feeling their feelings, about the idea of processing our feelings, it initially sounds like such a simple thing. Like feeling your feelings, you think, well, what else would I do with them, right? Like, I'm already feeling them because I'm pretty stressed out. Like, that's why we're on this coaching call. So when I talk to them about feeling their feelings, it doesn't feel like a very revolutionary idea. And then I have to point out to them that most of what we do is avoid our feelings or resist them or react to our feelings as opposed to actually feeling them. And what I'm talking about is feeling your feelings like in your physical body. That's what I mean by feeling your feelings. Most of what people do is they think about their feelings. So it can be kind of a novel concept to even wrap your head around. And so when I explain to them what I mean by feeling your feelings, they're like, oh yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to focus on this terrible feeling that I'm having. Like, that's why I'm in this call. Like, I want you to fix it so that I can stop feeling the way that I do. But unfortunately, the fastest way to fix our feelings is to stop resisting them, to stop thinking about our feelings and actually process our feelings. And like I said, a lot of people want to avoid this because they haven't ever actually experienced feeling their feelings. They've only experienced resisting your feelings. And that resisting your feelings or even thinking about your feelings does suck because neither of those things process your emotions so that they're like felt all the way through and then just move on and you let go of them. Most of those, like resisting your feelings or thinking about them, like that actually keeps your feelings around longer. So it feels like they both, I'm thinking of computer code, which I only vaguely understand. It's like a endless loop where we're thinking that about them or we're avoiding them. And then, just when we think we're over it, like they pop back up. So when I talk to people about not avoiding their feelings, like that's what they're thinking of. And that does suck. And so today, like we're going to talk just quickly about what those things are so that you can like recognize when you're doing resisting or thinking. And then we're going to talk about how to feel your feelings all the way through so that you can let them go and move on. And hopefully when we're done, like I will have won you over to trying actually feeling your feelings. Okay. The first approach that a lot of people use is to avoid their feelings. And avoiding your feelings is like you just don't think about it. Well, just put that out of your mind or just let it go. This is a lot of advice that you hear from other people. It's like, oh, just let it go. You shouldn't worry about that. But we are worrying about that. When people tell us to let it go, that really doesn't work. And then what we end up doing is we end up pretending that it's not bothering us because like clearly that friend doesn't want to hear any more about it. And so we pretend like it's not bothering, but it's really running in the background all the time. And it almost becomes like a form, like when we pretend it doesn't bother us when it does, like that's a form of lying to ourselves. But because we're lying to ourselves, like we always know we're lying to ourselves. And so obviously that feeling just hangs around way longer than it needs to. Okay. Because now it's like the original event wrapped in a lie that it's not bothering you. So of course you can't process that and let it go. The next approach that a lot of people use is resisting the feeling, which the mental image I have of that is like you're pushing it down, like you're pushing a beach ball underwater in the pool. I don't know if you ever did that when you were little. And you're like holding it and holding it. You're trying to sit on it and like your arms get tired or you shift a little bit and it shoots out from underneath you and it like goes flying across the pool. And then you like swim over and get it and like try it again. And what that's like is when you're resisting being mad about the thing you are actually mad about. And you're trying to pretend it's not bothering you. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you blow up over something relatively minor. Like you've been keeping it together for days. And then all of a sudden, like someone leaves something out on the kitchen counter and you are losing your mind about it, like all disproportionate to what actually happened. And that's like that beach ball shooting out from underwater. You're like, you still have the original incident. And now you have this other incident to deal with, which is when you blew up over that thing that wasn't even the thing that was really bothering you. So now you have like two beach balls you're trying to hold underwater or trying to deal with. Okay, so resisting is not a great long-term option because your arms get tired or you shift and, then you end up in a fight about whose turn it is to take the garbage out. The third really common approach that people have is thinking about their feelings. Okay, this is what most people are doing when they think they're feeling their feelings. That's when you're going over the story again and again in your mind. You're saying like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. I told them. I don't know why no one ever listens to me. Of course it didn't work out. I knew it wasn't going to work. Like, I don't know why. Like, I deserve better than this. And that story like ruminates and you play it over and over and over in your mind. And the reason that this doesn't help is your feelings are caused by your thoughts about what happened. So when you keep replaying your thoughts about what happened, of course, you're going to keep feeling your feelings about what happened. Because those feelings are caused by the thoughts that you keep replaying. Okay, so that's why it doesn't work to keep telling the story over and over and over about what shouldn't have happened or what should have happened. So avoiding, resisting, thinking, all of those don't work. The next path that a lot of people take is reacting. Like their feelings feel too big to like hold in their body. They're so angry. And so they'll go on social media and like blast that person that did that thing, even if it's just like someone at Costco or the politician that said the thing or the school board that said the thing or the teacher, or they'll call a friend and they'll just like dump all of those big feelings. They'll just vent all of them out onto the friend. And I'm not saying that venting doesn't have its place, but it's only one way of handling it. And oftentimes we don't just vent one time and get it out. that venting becomes a story that we tell over and over and over. We text a friend, we post about it on social media, we tell our moms, we tell our spouses. And all we're really doing, like that's like thinking about your feelings. You're just replaying that thing that happened over and over and over. And you're actually like re-triggering those feelings that you have again and again and again. Or you react in a way that makes it worse. Like say it's heat of the moment, you have all those big feelings come up, and then you just like get into a huge fight, or you take an action that you would later, like in a calmer state, have not chosen. Reacting to your feelings while you're having all those big feelings rarely is the best approach. So let's talk about what I do recommend, which is feeling your feelings. And by that, I mean actually experiencing the feelings in your body, letting them be there, letting your sadness and your pain and your anger and your frustration and all of them just be there. And I have 3 different ways that you can let them be in your body, because different people have different, like they have success with different methods. So I have 3 different methods you can use. The first method is to describe them, like the felt sense of them, like you would describe your experience at the doctor's office. Okay, like when you go into the doctor's office and you're like, oh, my right leg hurts right around my knee. They ask, is it sharp pain? Is it stabbing? Does it happen like when you walk upstairs? Think of describing your pain, like where your pain sits in your body and how it feels. Okay, so that might be like a heaviness in your chest, or a tightness in your stomach, or tightness in your shoulders. It might be shallow breathing. It might be heat. Like sometimes we think of anger as a hot emotion, and sadness is a cold emotion, like almost a numbness. So you can be narrating your feelings as you're feeling them. Okay, so the thing happens and you notice that you're feeling angry, and then you just start mentally narrating what's happening. Okay, my breathing's really shallow. Maybe even your like hand is clenched in a fist. Just notice what's happening and narrate it in your body. The second way that you can feel your feelings is to just notice them you don't have to be describing it to yourself, but you also can't be using any other words. Okay, so you're just breathing and noticing your emotions. And you could say, like, I'm feeling angry, feeling angry, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling angry. Like you could say that, but you can't have any, because we're not trying to trigger the story. We're not trying to re-trigger the story. So you can just breathe and count, or you can breathe and narrate the emotion that you're feeling. And the third way is to just breathe without any words. I'm not a person that is hugely successful for. I have a pretty constant chatter happening in my brain. But there are people that just want to breathe without any words. They're just breathing in. They're focusing on the breathing in and they're breathing out. They're breathing in and they're breathing out. Okay, so describe all the physical sensations. Describe the emotion itself, or just breathe without any words. Those are the three ways to experience the felt sense of your feelings. The good news is that what happens while you're doing this is you let that emotion come up and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it will go out. And it's just like a wave rolling into shore. I've read this, and this is my experience as well, is that like emotion coming up and going out actually happens pretty quickly. Like most of the time it's under a minute, and science shows that it's usually under 90 seconds. Okay, so it isn't like you're going to have to feel angry for hours. Like it comes in and it goes out as long as you don't resist it. Now, what does happen, especially if this is a larger triggering event, is that another wave of anger may come in. You may have to do this multiple times. Okay, especially like I said, for larger events, like when I was processing the grief of my father's death, those emotions came in, like those waves happened for days. But even those emotions, like they happened closer together in the beginning, and then it would stretch out to hours, and then it would stretch out to days, and then it would stretch out for weeks. And now, years later, sometimes I still have big emotions. Like I still miss him. Something will happen, and I would think, oh, my dad would love this so much. And sometimes I just flat out feel happy, and sometimes I feel a wave of missing him. But I know what to do. I know how to feel that wave come in and go out. And as long as I don't resist it, it's actually not an unpleasant experience anymore. And the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to feel that wave coming in and going out. It can feel a little tricky in the beginning, but the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And the benefit of feeling your feelings, like I just can't overstate. Once you can feel your feelings and process them and let them go, then you're no longer at the mercy of them. Okay, you're not resisting them. You're not doing things to avoid them. Like if you can process your anger, you don't have to eat or drink it. Okay, you no longer have to. There was a time when I would pour myself a cocktail and like I knew I was drinking my feelings, and not in an alcoholic kind of way, but just in a like I knew that I was doing something because of the thing that just happened. It was the same thing with Thin Mints. Like I used to have the same reaction. Like my kids would do something really frustrating, and I was just so desperate to feel better that I would go grab like a handful of Thin Mints. And if you're willing to feel your feelings, like you don't have to do that. You don't have to take them out on someone who leaves stuff out on the counter. You don't have to create new problems because you're avoiding the feelings of your old ones. So I want you to give this a try. And like I said, I feel like right now we have a lot of opportunities to practice feeling our feelings. Maybe it's just me. Hopefully you're listening to this and everything in your life is fantastic. And if it is, I want to point out, like one of the reasons that happiness feels fleeting to us is because we don't resist that emotion. Okay, if we resisted happiness, it would hang around longer. Like we also wouldn't enjoy it. So I'm not suggesting that you resist happiness, but that's the reason that happiness is so fleeting, is because we don't resist it. Okay, we don't replay it in our minds, which actually I do recommend that. Like if something great happens to you, go ahead and ruminate about it. Like go ahead and play that over and over and over in your mind. Tell people your happy story as often as you tell them your venting stories. Tell them more. Amplify your happiness. Use all of the things that you use to push away negative emotions to embrace positive emotions. And I want you to give this a try and let me know how it goes. And I especially, if you struggle with this, I want you to reach out for help. I don't normally offer single session coaching sessions. I normally only offer packages because I do absolutely believe that we get better results when we establish a coaching relationship and work through issues over time. Because I feel so strongly about helping you all develop this skill, I am, in this case, offering single sessions. So if you try this and you find that you're running into trouble, or if you want the support, like I have hired support to help me do this, when I'm struggling with something that I feel like it's too much for me to do on my own. And if you want that kind of support while you're processing something, absolutely, you can send me an email to Allie@allieirwin.com. and just put single session in the subject line, and I'll send you a scheduling link. Because like I said, I really want you to feel supported in this practice. I think that part of healing all of the stuff that's happening right now for us lies in developing this skill. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you give it a try, and I hope you reach out for support if you need it. Have a great week, everyone.